What is going on, everybody? It is episode 867 of Pop Culture Crisis. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. My name is Brett, and I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We are back from the weekend, and we're starting off with a $20 super chat from Shane H. Wilder. Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. Yesterday, I watched The Ritual after Mike Lerner and Amber Rose, the religious hippie. Thank you for clarifying, not the Amber Rose who has an OnlyFans, recommended it. It's actually good and is accurate to the Roman ritual. I'll write something up on it for Sunday.
Maybe that's the type of thing where if it goes into territory where you don't think that movies would normally go these days, maybe take a look at who made the movie and see if they've got anything else that they've made that you might be interested in, especially if they got it right this time. Perhaps that means they would.
Is it a horror movie?
Sounds like a horror. I mean, it sounds like a horror movie.
If I recall correctly, I could be
I've
wrong.
seen one, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it, I think, on Friday, but I didn't look into it further.
I did see a bunch of propaganda going around about how great F1 did at the box office, and
they're coping.
Are they
huffing copium?
There's a lot of copium. Look, I loved the movie. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think you would all benefit from going to see it in the theaters. And then one of my favorite parts was then going and watching the reviews of all the people much smarter and better spoken than me, explaining in more eloquent words why they liked it, and many of the same reasons that I did. But the problem is at a budget of like $300 million. And it walked away with like 55 million domestic and 88 million overseas. It's the best movie that Apple. It's the most. It's made the most money out of any movie that Apple has released in theaters. And trust me, I felt dirty just watching a movie from Apple, as you know. But you know, $150 million opening against a $300 million budget doesn't mean anything if they're not taking home 150 million of that money, which of course they are not. They take about half of that. I still think that the movie could make its money back, especially if it has strong legs. The problem is we're coming up on a very busy July with Jurassic World, which, to be fair, has like 50% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes right now, but that opens on my birthday on Wednesday, and then you've got Superman after that and Fantastic Four after that. So I don't think it's going to make its money back. So you do see some spin going around in the trades about how it revved its way to $150 million.
Revved it?
Yeah.
They love doing the little like
you hear them
metaphors.
Giggle as they're writing it.
Yeah. They love doing that.
Speeds in for $150 million.
That's cute. I still want to see Megan 2.0.
That's not getting like that. People are saying that that's bad too.
Oh yeah. I've noticed that. I think it's a Universal movie, and Universal is doing everything they can to AstroTurf the hype for it. And people are saying that all of the comments on the trailer on YouTube are bot comments, and you can go to if you look at all the comments, they're saying like, whoa, they made a horror movie into an action genre. That's so awesome. So they basically switched from horror to action because she's like flying around on a jetpack or something. Like, I don't even get it, but it's weird, and it's not the same concept anymore. Well, and then all of these comments are celebrating it, and you go to click on their channel and they just are bot accounts that have commented positive comments on literally every trailer from Universal. Yeah. Every Universal Studios movie has a comment from that one of those accounts on the trailer, hyping it up, and like, it's just not.
I suppose like if you're gonna attempt to genre switch, you do it in the second movie, but you know, probably not.
No, I don't. Also, I really don't like that they gave her like a teenager body
rather than
new one. It's getting weird. It was already weird when they sold the life-size replica of the child Megan doll, but now that they like gave her a more adult figure, it's gonna get weird really fast. So I just don't like that.
I did see the trailer, guys, for Project Hail Mary. It does look fun. I think they gave too much away in that trailer. The trailer's like 3 minutes long, which is indicative of a studio that might not have the most faith in it, though. Plus, I do laugh at the idea of like Ryan Gosling playing the everyman. It's like the most unreasonable thing to believe in that movie is that
Fall Guy.
Sixth grade teacher, like are there even men teaching sixth grade anymore? Like or is like it's all women that teach school now, right? Grade school.
Yeah.
Like that's the most unrealistic part of this movie the male sixth grade teacher.
The biggest shift in middle school is when I had a male teacher for literally the first time.
And where I went to school, I went to a junior high, not a middle school. So at a junior high, you go to elementary school through 6th grade, and then you start 7 to 9 is junior high, and then 10th, 11th, and 12th is high school.
This just reminded me. I don't know if I ever did this. I feel like I would remember if I did, but there were a couple kids in 6th grade who accidentally called the teacher mommy. Yeah, do you remember kids doing that once in a while?
No.
Even in grade school?
No, that never.
In like elementary school though, like if they like reflexively said no. Because I remember that happening in elementary school at least a handful of times, and then maybe once or twice when we were in 6th grade.
I bet you that there's like a whole cottage industry of Instagram skits about that.
Because they see their teacher as like a maternal figure, and most female teachers are moms, and you just, I guess those kids just
the closest thing I can think of.
Slip.
The closest thing I can think of is I used to live next to these 2 brothers, and we would hang out, and they would always be arguing and fighting. And at one point, like, the older brother hit the younger brother on the shoulder, and the kid instinctively raised his hand as if to tattle on him. We were at home.
Like, my gosh.
Yeah, I still remember that to this day.
Like no one is
that's
here.
That's a core memory to me, and I was very young. That might be one of my earliest memories.
We have another 20 from Shane H. Wilder. The Ritual is technically horror. It covers the 1928 exorcism of Emma Schmidt. I wouldn't call it horror as there were no real jump scares, and it just told the story without adding BS. Brett would like it as it's 99 minutes.
Yeah, anything short is
short and sweet.
Short and sweet. And then there's one more there.
Another 20 from Florida TV Guy.
Who are you really? Because I don't know that username.
I don't know. Based on reservations, Florida looks completely sold out on IMAX screens for the 4th of July weekend. I predict a really low drop-off that might give Apple their first real theatrical win. Okay, so that's actually a good point. Like, for the people who aren't interested in dinosaur slop, like me, Top Gun Maverick didn't make it to $1 billion by doing really super well its opening weekend. Granted, I think it made $100 million in its opening weekend, but it took time for it to get there. Having it over a holiday weekend does help it, especially on those big screens. And this movie does, like, I was considering going to see it again in like a larger screen. Like, this is one that's actually worth going to see there. Low drop-offs will definitely help it, and if it makes it to profitability, if this thing can get to $600-700 million, I will eat crow. And here's my bet. If this movie can make it to $700 million, I will get Apple TV for a month. There we go. That's tough. Yeah. I don't want that for you. We have another 20 from Riri Traveler. I and many others I knew called teachers in high school mom or mommy by mistake. It's not uncommon. In high school? I never saw that happen in high school. It was only at the beginning of middle school that ever happened. For me, though. But yeah, that's a real thing. Okay. I remember. Well, we'll go with it, guys. Hit the like button on this video today, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share this live stream out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both like and hate in equal measure. I would like you to go into the comments section with the people that you hate and argue about these episodes and our segments, because it increases our engagement. It is part of my master plan. And let's face it, you like arguing with people. I'm looking at you. I know you do. So what do we getting into today? Bunch of stuff to talk about. So look, we covered early on the protesters, the have-nots of Venice protesting the Bezos wedding. We are going to talk now about the celebrity have-nots who have not a sense of right and wrong as they try to rain on Bezos's very, very expensive parade. We're going to talk about those celebrities, some of the other protesters that have come out, because the wedding is over and it was a who's who event. So we're going to discuss it. We're also going to talk about a bunch of stuff that happened at Glastonbury. If you don't know what that is, it's a music festival that it's British Coachella. Yeah, that's what it is. And J.K. Rowling was put on this mural where it's basically a communist mural, a propaganda piece to say, like, look at these rich people who don't agree with us. We're going to send them on a ship to space via a piece of art.
And it was very stupid and lame. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a band named Bob Villain, which, I'm of two minds because anything's better than Bob Dylan.
Right.
But,
It's a tough choice.
They were dropped by their talent agency and then banned from the United States, had a work visa revoked because they shouted, I don't even know if I can say the phrase, but
they wanted to unalive the IDF. That's what they said.
As well as all the other canned phrases that political opposition uses of every party. In this case, it's from the river to the sea, all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that, and along with J.K. Rowling and a couple of other things, because it seems like all these festivals are used for now is political propaganda. And if I had to choose between political propaganda and Charlie XCX, I guess I'd choose the political propaganda because she's crashing out as BRAT Summer dies a slow, painful death on stage.
It couldn't go any slower. It's literally been a year now.
Yeah.
We have another 20 from Florida TV guy. Hey, what's with the name change? This is Pop Culture Junkie. Guys, you can go to your channel, and if you want to make it, if you want to go back to your previous username, you're unfortunately going to have to go to your own channel page and do like the customization to put it back to what it was before. But I doubt most of you want the headache of doing so.
I saw it earlier. Unknown sent it to me, said he mentioned it.
But otherwise, I'm going to have to just call you by the username that's on the screen because I can't remember all of you by your profile picture alone.
Yeah, I can't find where he sent it to me here, but he did send me something.
You're all smart cookies and you can figure it out. Yeah. Though. I believe in you. Also, disclaimer before we even start. Hold on. What is this?
What
just happened?
It was Tate sent me something on X.
Okay, thanks, Tate. I'm profusely crying out of corners of my eyes today. This always happens toward the end of the month when my contacts are reaching their expiration date.
Wait, well, so you use them the same ones multiple times?
Well, they're monthlies.
Okay, so
yeah, so I'm just gonna be crying today.
That's okay.
That's gonna be a little bit of a sideshow, but just thought I'd mention it.
Okay, yeah, I can't see where it was, but they left it in one of my posts. But you can change your username if you want to.
If you care that deeply about it.
Yeah. So,
which I wouldn't blame you.
All right, if you're ready to go, we can just get started. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then.
Last week, we were talking about the rumored picks for the next James Bond, and they now have Denis Villeneuve hired to direct the next James Bond movies. And people are beginning to discuss the possible next Bond girl. Thank you.
We should just start over. Hold, please.
I'm standing on business.
Let's reel it back. We'll reel it back. We'll start over.
Well, I have to wait for the money gun.
Well, no, and yeah, also the lights.
And the lights.
What if every segment started with flashing red lights like we were getting arrested?
But people rarely ask questions about it, actually. Okay, rewind. Last week, we were talking about the rumored picks for the next James Bond. The next movie is being directed by Denis Villeneuve, and now people are discussing who could be cast as the next Bond girl. And it's not looking good so far because the top picks, according to the gamblers who are betting on these decisions, are Zendaya and Florence Pugh. Now, I don't know if this is just rage bait and they're trying to cause a ruckus, but these are supposedly the favorites to be cast as the next Bond girl, and the top rumored picks for James Bond would be Tom Holland, Harris Dickinson, and Jacob Elordi. And I guess it would make sense if they chose Tom Holland to make Zendaya the Bond girl, but
no, because look, I would never do that if I were them. Because what if they break up? Like, especially if she's
they're not gonna. They're married. They're married
because no celebrity couple has ever gotten divorced before.
Well, I mean, if anything, that would just add more intrigue.
And to be fair,
you're already you've signed the contract. You have to do at least 3 movies together, and you're in the middle of a divorce. I think people would love that.
And the Bond girls are not usually in more than one movie at a time.
So they would choose a different one each time.
And then what he does is then if they get divorced in real life, he makes sure that he picks a woman that she's complained about in the past. Mm-hmm. She's like, I hate that Mikey Madison. And then he's like...
I haven't heard about Florence Pugh fatigue yet, but there is definitely a heightened Zendaya fatigue at the moment. And
I mean,
think
I have Florence Pugh fatigue.
we
so
always have Florence Pugh fatigue, but I think that if Zendaya got cast, it would not go over well with the fans.
One of the names that they mentioned was Paloma, which is Ana de Armas' character from the previous James Bond movie. That's relevant because she worked with Denis Villeneuve in Blade Runner 2049. Yeah. They also mentioned Rebecca Ferguson because she has worked with him in Dune Part 1 and 2. She's too old. Sorry.
So what do you say is the age cutoff then?
They should be under 30.
Okay.
Yes, they should be.
Were there any Bond girls who were over 30?
I'm sure there were, but I'm putting.
Well, then why is the cutoff 30?
Because I've made the decision.
There's no precedent.
This is my precedent here. Chat can let me know. Is Terry Hatcher 30 when she I don't know, like maybe you can look up what the average age is of a Bond girl, but
I'm gonna look up the ages.
They mentioned
of
Margot
girls.
Robbie. I mean, picking an American for a Bond girl again.
Okay, it says the ages of Bond girls at the time of respective movies range from 21 to 44 years old.
Who was 44?
I believe they said, wait, Madonna?
She wasn't a Bond girl. She was a glorified cameo. That doesn't count.
I don't know if that really counts.
She was a fence.
Let me see.
She was a fencer. She's not a. She wasn't a Bond girl.
Typically, James Bond is mid-30s. Typically, Bond girls would be early to mid-20s. So yeah, but then they also mentioned an exception in Honor Blackman, who was nearly 40 when she starred in Goldfinger.
Okay, so we're going back a ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Like, best not to deviate from the norm.
How old was Halle Berry when she was a Bond girl? How old is Halle Berry now? 'Cause she would have been a Bond girl in 2001.
Let me check.
So they mentioned Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's like my age, or a couple years younger than me, and same birthday as me. Her birthday is the second too.
Okay, wait. So Halle Berry is 58 now.
Yes. So 20 years. Well, no, because it would have been 2001. So that's what.
She was in her mid-30s.
Okay.
So I mean, that's. There's a precedent, you know? It could be a woman in her mid-30s like Margot Robbie.
If they're going to go with an American, you do Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, so...
It's fun. It's not thinking too hard.
But she's not a good actor.
You don't need to be a good actor to be a Bond girl.
What do you...
It's a benefit, but
that
you
would
don't
just make
need
it
to
come
be.
off like it's for comedic effect.
You
know what I mean?
I do not.
Like,
I say no
get that,
to
like,
Jenna Ortega.
Sydney Sweeney would work in like an Austin Powers role.
Never mind.
She would
yes.
not work.
Okay, you're right.
In a more serious franchise like James Bond.
Never mind.
She would be a
200. You're 200% right. They should actually just bring back Austin Powers and have Sydney Sweeney.
It would actually be great. I would watch that. I don't want her in a more serious role because she's not able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, she just can't act.
Emma Watson is listed on this list because one of the producers for Amazon produced all 8 Harry Potter movies. So it looks like they're trying to just kind of make correlations between the people who have been hired on to do this franchise now and who they might look to turn to. For instance, mentioning the fact that Denis Villeneuve has worked with actresses like Ana de Armas and Rebecca Ferguson before. I do not want Zoe Kravitz or Jenna Ortega. I don't think they're a good fit.
Jenna Ortega wouldn't really make
stylistically
sense.
It's not a good fit, and Zoe Kravitz
Jenna Ortega is not really in that genre anyway. Like, she's mostly in horror movies.
I mean, wasn't she the one trying who was like trying not to be like pigeonholed, but then she got pigeonholed anyways?
Well, I think that Jenna Ortega also just looks too young for a role like that. Like, she doesn't really have like, do you know what I mean?
By the time it comes out, she
doesn't have like bombshell.
Yeah.
A persona like.
I do, however, think I would like what they should do. They should go against type and they should cast Emma Watson as a bad guy. They should make Emma Watson a villain.
I can't. I mean, I saw her as a villain in the
Or
Bling
if you're
Ring,
going to do Zoe Kravitz, no,
she'd
she'd be even more annoying as a
Zoe
villain.
Kravitz actually seems like a likely option.
I
Weirdly enough, it just seems like they're gonna do that.
I like the Marissa Abella choice. I did not see Black Bag, but she was in Black Bag, which is in the spy genre itself. Please no Florence Pugh. I would rather Zendaya than Florence Pugh.
Really?
Yes.
You just can't stand Florence
I just
Pugh
can't
that
stand
strongly.
Florence Pugh. I would rather Zendaya than Florence Pugh.
Even Zendaya's angry face.
Even her angry. Make her a villain. You know what? Like Famke Janssen in GoldenEye. Make her like a number 2 who makes disapproving faces and shoots people.
There are also other lists.
Don't do
that
this.
include,
I'm being sarcastic. I've kind of come to accept that people don't understand when I'm kidding sometimes. I'm kidding. Don't do that either.
Lily Collins is on some lists, and Millie Bobby Brown as well.
They will not take Millie Bobby.
That.
I mean, Millie Bobby Brown, they're like, great, she can be young but look old.
No, if they cast her, I think she would be like, oh no, that's like too serious for me. Like she would rather do Netflix slop. Lupita Nyong'o was on one of the lists I saw.
No.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Naomi Harris was good as...
I want to see Anya Taylor-Joy.
There you go.
But I just like her.
I
like her voice a lot. Yeah. I think she has a Bond girl voice, and she's very striking.
I don't know who else they could bring in. There was people cast after F1 came out who were saying that Damson
I'm sorry. The thunder right now is crazy. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's like actually kind of scary. Do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, yeah.
I do not want Florence Pugh in this role, but in general, I don't really think most of it matters anyways, because the idea of the Bond girl is no longer what it used to mean, unless Amazon really, really wants to go back to tradition and create a genre of Bond girl again that's actually allowed to kind of be fun.
There were some others, such as Zoe Deutsch. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Haley Steinfeld, Joey King, Dua Lipa.
Joey King would...
Phoebe Dynevor and Rachel Zegler.
Isn't Joey King in the same category as Jenna Ortega, as in they look young? Joey King looks like a child to
I
me.
don't think that Joey King would work.
You are correct. I mean, that's Argyle. That's because she was in Argyle.
Yeah, she already did that.
Yeah. I could see that.
Phoebe Dynevor?
No. You are correct. I see somebody in the chat. I'm sorry. Jet Sparks mentioned, Monica Bellucci. That was Spectre, right? She was originally supposed to play Paris Carver in Die Another Day, but that role went to Terry Hatcher. And I believe Terry Hatcher at that point said that she only did it because her husband had the desire to be married to a Bond girl, but then they've divorced.
Oh.
See, they divorced. See? It happens.
Bittersweet.
But it'll be interesting to see what they do, because if they make the first one, remember, it's now like Amazon is a distinctly American studio making this movie now, and you don't have the Broccoli family involved. And I always felt like when they brought in American actresses to play Bond girls, it was specifically to kind of play to American audiences. So the question is, like, where will the American influence come in this film? Mm-hmm. Like, will it end up being... the bad guy? I think Rami Malek. Well, I guess Rami Malek wasn't playing an American, but like it'll end up being either the bad guy or the Bond girl. One of them will have to be an American to try and coax audiences. Though I think that tactic doesn't need to be done the way it used to. Yeah. Like back before the internet, it was like,
we're globalized. We're fully globalized now. That's not necessary.
But you understood where it used to come from. They're like, we have to attract this audience by bringing in this actress.
I just saw one of the promotional photos from Henry Cavill's Superman, and he was doing a photo shoot with Amy Adams. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how did they ever approve this?
Yeah,
like
they had zero chemistry.
Literally none. And someone said it looks like Henry Cavill is taking her to the police. Like it looks like he's just citizen's arrest on her.
There was one where he's like this, because they don't look like they have any chemistry, it looks like he's pouting.
They look like there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
So obviously they're gonna have to pick the next James Bond before casting a Bond girl, because it all depends on the vibe of the actor and what will be compatible with him on screen. They just don't understand on-screen chemistry anymore in Hollywood.
Yeah,
they're almost like against it.
It's the thing is, it used to be the cornerstone for like all of the shows in the mid 2000s that involved like a man and a woman. Like Castle worked because Stana Katic had great chemistry with Nathan Fillion, but then they ended up hating each other. Like they literally
helps.
They kept them apart in the last season because they couldn't stand to be in the same room together.
But that might actually be like, it sounds counterintuitive, but that might be key.
Yeah, like they have
hating each other.
They feel something.
There's passion. Yeah. At least there's passion if they hate each other.
Oh yes, thank you, Leif Erikson. Haley Steinfeld would be a fantastic choice. She has the appropriate look for it.
Yeah.
I think she would work. She's right in that age range.
I can see it.
And she's like, what, 28 now? So she'll be
Something
30, like 31 when the movie comes out. So she'd be granted by the time it gets filmed, she'd be in her late 20s, early 30s. So I think they could do that.
I really want to see Sydney Sweeney and Sabrina Carpenter as fembots in an Austin Powers reboot.
I'm kind of down.
But obviously with Mike Myers, like it cannot be anyone else.
Yeah.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
It would just work. It just would.
And I guess, remember Beyonce was in the sequel, so they'd have to get Kim Kardashian to do a fembot in one of it too.
Yeah, you look back at those scenes with Beyonce and you're like, she just really did not give a fuck.
No, she didn't. All right, let's move on.
A viral clip from a cringy dating show has now amassed over 100 million views on X because of a standout performance from one online personality named Rachel Lerman. So this is from a dating show posted by David Alvarez on YouTube. He has 2.8 million subscribers, and it's titled Blind Dating a Famous Rapper. In this video, he sets up this rapper called Baby No Money with 7 options for a date, and all of them are supposed to shoot their shot with this guy. Okay. And he describes himself as, really down to earth. Like, I know I'm a rapper, but I'm looking to settle down and find a wifey. I'm not that sexual of a person, despite what you may think. And
hazards of the business.
These women just throw themselves at this guy. But Rachel Lerman, especially, the blonde that you're about to see in this clip, went over the top with it. And it's getting incredibly mixed reactions from X. Some men are saying that this is like their dream woman. And then on the other hand, they're saying, no, she's clearly insane. And I would avoid this woman like the plague based on her behavior. So I'm going to actually watch Brett's fresh reaction to this clip since he hasn't seen it yet. I am intensely interested in what you have to say.
Didn't we do a segment a while back where they put like a Down syndrome filter? Like that when like the people were doing like fake Down syndrome? Like
about the OnlyFans women?
Remember
what
that?
About it?
She looks like Scarlett Johansson with that filter over her face.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not going to say that I agree. I didn't see it.
She agrees. All right, here we go.
Before I give mine, can I do something real quick?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Wow, how thoughtful.
Wow.
It looks a little nice now.
Whoa.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Rachel.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So I have a fun fact. When I was in high school, I broke the state record for the most block shots. So good luck to everyone trying to shoot their shot. Okay.
Poetic.
I also have another question.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you a Twitch streamer?
I do stream sometimes.
Because I'd be your sub.
Oh, damn. Back to back.
Tier 3 sub or what?
Top tier for sure.
Oh, back to back, ladies and
W
gentlemen.
in the chat, guys.
Dubs in the chat for Rachel.
It's a little embarrassing. So I sing, but I kind of sing cringy music, and when I sing really, really fucking loud.
Sing.
There goes the baker with his tray like always. The same old bread and rolls to sell. Every morning just the same since the morning that we came to this poor provincial town. Good morning, Belle. Good morning, monsieur. Where are you off to? The bookstore. I just finished the most wonderful story about a beanstalk and an ogre, and then she gets cut off, and that's, yeah.
All right, good.
Disney, hire her!
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Is this cringe? Or is it endearing?
Yeah, she's going too hard.
What do you say? This is too try hard?
She's going too hard. I mean, she doesn't look like she's trying to win the competition. She looks like she's trying to get farmed out into clicks and turned into viral memes, which is exactly what happened. So in that case, she did exactly what she set out to do.
Yeah,
but she doesn't seem to
her.
actually be interested in dating this guy. But then again, does anybody actually go to these types of shows to look for lasting connection?
Love?
Yeah, like is that a thing?
Yeah, I doubt it. So you're saying this is cringe, like this wouldn't work on you.
It's what I always say to you. I said she has throw your clothing out the second story of the building energy.
Okay, that's what a lot of the comments are saying. Yeah, one of them said it's wild how BPD girls have more Riz in their pinky finger than the average woman has in their whole body.
She sounds like every threat she will make against you comes in the form of therapy speak.
Oh, another one said, you'll find this type of energy cute and harmless until she destroys your life, and then you will never find it attractive again.
Yes.
It's a trap. And then there were some other comments from men saying this is like the ideal way for women to flirt. They think that this is like perfect 10 out of 10 performance from her, including this guy. If women really want guys, can't they just be straightforward and honest like this girl right here? Another one said this
There's
is
nothing
called...
honest about what we're watching.
Exactly. This is called flirting. It's designed to be a little forced. Did everyone forget what normal human interactions are? So to this person, this is like normal. But then another one said, as an alpha male, this gives me the ick. And then, why does she sound like a cartoon? Funny how those chicks were bothered and pressed because this one was outgoing, fun, and spontaneous. It was like completely 180 takes.
Stay away from her.
It was either like she's all good or all bad.
Do you know what the biggest red flag was? She could actually sing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, she was good. Yeah, she could probably do
like that
voice
was
acting.
the biggest red flag out of all of this, was that she could actually sing. She's a performer, I'm guessing, of some sort.
Well, when I watched this clip, it reminded me of one thing instantly. This sexy baby bit from 30 Rock. So I just have to do a callback.
So you can drop the sexy baby act and lose the pigtails.
But I like my pigtails. My uncle says they're sexy.
Enough with the gross jokes and that voice. I want you to talk in your real voice.
This is my real voice. And the whole sexy baby thing isn't an act. I'm a very sexy baby.
Okay. It reminded...
Yeah.
Did anybody ever see the movie... no guys in the chat will have seen this movie. A Walk to Remember with Mandy Moore and Shane West. It was a Nicholas Sparks book turned into a movie, not The Notebook. And in the movie, Mandy Moore plays a girl named Jamie, right? And she's very religious. Her father's a pastor, and she falls in love with a guy. And she talks in this like high-pitched, sweet voice, like a caricature of what you'd imagine a perfectly innocent person with no flaws would talk like. And then, except for at one point where she like gets down to earth with her dad and goes, "Dad, it's just a sweater." And to this day, I still can't believe the director did not stop and make her do another take, because she completely abandoned the voice she had been talking in the whole movie. Even when she would yell in the movie, she still had that high register to her voice. And then it just disappeared for one scene. And that was like maybe one of my first examples where I'm like, why didn't they redo that? That's this type of voice. Like it's put on and fake.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't know how you can see this and not be struck by how artificial her personality is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that would be a turnoff for almost anyone, I hope. In real life, maybe not through a video. If you're looking at a video, it's different. But if you were interacting with this person in real life, it'd be deeply unsettling.
I mean, this is also, it's not like you go to a big room. What is it with all, somebody points this out, this is, what is with the flood of videos of people in blank white rooms? It looks like you're in a room run by a serial killer or a cult. And they make these types of dating shows, or even Trevor Wallace does a lot of comedy skits in these types of environments. He's a comedian. You don't actually go to these rooms to look for love. You go to these rooms to make content. It's
like the Jubilee warehouse, you know?
Yeah.
You enter a liminal space.
Yeah, there's nothing about this that I mean, it would be the guy's fault himself if he actually went to. But I also feel the same way about guys who go on The Bachelor or women who go on The Bachelor. Like, if you go there looking for love, you've already lost.
Right, most of them are in it for followers. I also did get a little bit conspiratorial because someone mentioned that this entire production was set up to promote an OnlyFans competitor company, which is called Hero Hero. It's actually linked in the YouTube video description. Hero Hero is a direct competitor to OnlyFans, but it's mostly popular. It started out in the Czech Republic, and it's basically the same as a subscriber paid platform, you know, connect with your fans. And that seems to be why they did this. It's like a product placement thing.
Yeah.
But to the point of the video in question, I really just don't like how people think femininity is the same thing as acting childish.
You're not just a girl.
Like that whole I'm just a girl, ditzy, ooh woo, whatever, baby thing. Like, that's not feminine, that's just creepy. And I feel like if guys are specifically into that, like, that's a red flag. Like, why do you want to date someone who acts like a 12-year-old?
It also depends on the dynamic of the relationship and whether you're already dating or not, and how you interact together. This type of thing is no dude would ever actually look at something like this before you know them and be like, wow, she looks like she can pay her bills on time.
Speaking of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl archetype, do you think that that's an archetype that has completely retired from media?
Yes.
Like, is that going to make a comeback at some point, or is it too dated at this point?
I guess it would have to take on some modern derivation that's more indicative of the times, but like, what is an example that you can think of when you think of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl? Because I only think of it as an archetype. I don't even know if I could call to you as like an example of chat. You let us know what you think of as an archetype, as an example of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah, or like, what do you think is the prime example of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope from a movie in a way that's like you actually find her likable and not unsettling, like this chick? Like, I think people mention what is her name, Ramona Flowers from
They mentioned
Scott Pilgrim.
The term was coined by film critic Nathan Rabin after observing Kirsten Dunst's character in Elizabethtown from 2005. He criticized the type as one-dimensional, existing only to provide emotional support to the protagonist or to teach them an important life lesson while receiving nothing in return. So,
okay.
you know,
like a magical Negro.
Yes, a literary device that's used. A better example of that, if you're trying to think of what they used feminism wise in the mid 2000s, would have been women in fridges.
Oh, right.
The idea that it was bad to have a woman die as some type of impetus for the hero to spring to action, despite the fact that that's a very real thing and exists for a reason, because it's a universally understood idea. Somebody you love, somebody close to you dies and spurs you into action. It doesn't require more explanation than that.
It doesn't have to be realistic.
It's not supposed to be.
A movie. But yeah, it's interesting that someone would like watch a movie with that trope in it and just completely build their personality off of it. Like, it's just really inauthentic. And I think that would come off if someone in real life were interacting with you that way. Maybe through a viral clip, people think it's endearing, but I can't even. Again,
this is a product of looking to go viral online. You're thinking in terms of 1-minute clips that can be cut together to make you look a certain way to boost your public profile.
It's just like this skipping and hopping around with your, like, the cleavage out, and you're also talking like a little girl and singing Disney princess songs like a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, it's undeniably a little creepy. I just think, like, everyone in that room was probably waiting for her to stop.
Yeah.
Like, the jig is up, okay?
All right. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cringe first.
Okay. All right, here we go.
This is a Labubu cringe.
All right.
Everything Labubu related is cringe, but this one especially.
I know what you're getting for your birthday. Here we
Can't wait.
I have the one and only 24 karat gold Labubu. I have the one and only 24 karat gold Labubu. The one and only 24 karat gold Labubu. This is the only 24 karat gold Labubu. My 24 karat gold Labubu.
I bet you people use them to smuggle drugs.
Oh yeah. There's a plot twist, just wait.
Okay.
I am now going to prove to you all that my 24 karat gold Labubu. So, my 24 karat gold Labubu. So, as you all know, I am the proud owner of the 24 karat gold Labubu. My 24 karat gold Labubu. My 24 karat Labubu. I am the only person in the world to have a 24 karat gold Labubu. I own the only 24 karat gold.
You know the phenomenon where you say a word so many times it stops meaning anything?
But it never meant anything in the first place.
It's actually the rest of the stuff that she's saying that's starting to
24 karat gold.
I'm not...
Labubu. I can't believe it. I've been out today and someone's stolen my 24 karat gold Labubu. Get ready with me while I get ready to go to the news station about my 24 karat gold Labubu.
Wait, you're telling me you showed me
Someone
all that and I
stole
don't
it.
get to see her plea for its return on network television?
So sad.
My goodness.
I mean, this is a tragedy.
That
like,
is-
I can't imagine.
So
the
were those
loss
all
that she must be feeling.
were
right
those
now.
all pulled from separate videos?
That was literally all of her TikToks.
Oh my god.
Are about her 24 karat gold Labubu.
If you don't know what a labubu is, that's your own fault.
Well,
man.
you know now, okay?
Yeah.
It's those little demon monster baby keychains.
That was amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
That lady.
that poor
All right.
woman.
Cue of the day. From Deadman says new pics of the kitties, Blackbeard and Indy sleeping on the couch, Taz laying on the cat tower, sitting up in the picture, and Mama Valentine.
Aww, so cute.
That's a good one. And
Very
there's a
cute.
20 there from Pop Culture Junkie who got his name back.
Oh, look at that. Kind of a great parody of Manic Pixie, Dream Girl, and great movie. Ruby Sparks. System won't let me use my original name spelling.
Yeah,
that
it
sucks.
mentioned Ruby Sparks in the Wikipedia for the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
I haven't seen that though.
All right.
Have you?
I have not.
Okay.
All right, let's get started.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's 3-day-long extravaganza wedding bash has now concluded over the weekend. And as expected, feathers were ruffled, especially from celebrities who were actually speaking out against Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez for just the extravagant spoil of wealth on display over the weekend, and they're feeling that they were excluded from the event, but also that they're standing against it morally speaking, so they can kind of say like, I wasn't invited, but that just means it's because I'm a good person. They're mad because it's unethical, not because they feel like they're not cool enough to get in the club. So the first of them is Charlize Theron. She was putting on an event for a program I didn't know existed. She owns this organization called the Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project.
Yeah.
And they were doing a block party event in Los Angeles over the same weekend as the wedding. And this is part of her speech that she gave to the audience. I think we might be the only people who didn't get an invite to the Bezos wedding, but that's okay because they suck and we're cool. And she just went on with her comments about immigration and foreign aid. And
Yeah, she says immigration policy has destroyed the lives of families, not criminals. Women's rights are becoming less and less every day. Queer and trans lives are increasingly being erased, and gender-based violence is on the rise. This isn't just policy, it's personal.
And I don't know if this is referring to Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, but she said, yeah, F them. So I'm guessing that was about the evil rich people. And Rosie O'Donnell also was deeply hurt by the Jeff Bezos wedding and posted on her Substack, which I didn't know existed, this long poem about how she was feeling. I guess that she needs an artistic outlet, a creative outlet for her pain. And this is what she wrote.
But I just want you, before we get into it, she does reference billionaires. I want you to remember, because I keep bringing this up on IRL, that they've officially turned billionaire into like a targeted class of people. It's not rich people, it's billionaires specifically, because a lot of times it's millionaires complaining about them.
Including Rosie O'Donnell and Charlize Theron, who are multimillionaires. Yep. It turned my stomach seeing all these billionaires gathering in the gross excess of it all, the show of it. Which I should go back. The title is just Jeff's Wedding, God Help Us. And she goes on, is Oprah friends with Jeff Bezos? Really? How is that possible? He treats his employees with disdain. By any metric, he is not a nice man. and his fake fembot wife, who looks like that. Why would he choose her after the salt of the earth Mackenzie?
But what she means by that is salt of the earth means that you give your money to charities, which give most of their money to the employees for administrative fees, rather than to actual people.
Sold his soul is what it looks like from here. The devil is smiling at all his conquests. I'm watching the NYC Pride March, the gay parade. Here is Dublin this sunny Sunday. Wondering if we will have another next year, or we will be banned in a fascist America when being gay is outlawed. You live in Ireland. Like, what are you even talking about? Don't roll your eyes and look away. It's happening. It's here. As the Trump bill gets ready for a vote, and it looks like it will pass because the GOP is owned by him, traitors to the American people, one and all. It will end America as we know it. The big, beautiful bill is a misnomer, the nail in all our coffins. Goodbye, democracy. As
She forgot our. She meant to say goodbye, our democracy.
Right. That was a key word there that she forgot. As we watch helplessly, like we do the starving children in Gaza, push it out of our mind. That was actually just the letter R right there.
That was so deep.
Justify the cruelty. Surely it won't be that bad. Actually, yes, it will. The world has gone mad. Why can't they see? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. A hipper man than me said, I'm not capable of it. It's too much to ask. Bezos was raised by a single mother. He knows exactly what he does. So do all of his guests, posing for photos, forgetting themselves in their designer outfits, ready for a Vogue cover, a spot on ET, more worthless performative nonsense. We have become numb to gross excess. We have learned to tolerate it. Celebrity worship, devoid of humanity. This bill will kill people. Period. End of sentence. We must stop it. But how? Will there even be elections at the midterms? I doubt it. Their evil plan is working. As we worship the ones hurting us, numbly asking for nothing in an American stupor of our own making. The sickness in our souls, we need an awakening beyond gathering in the streets, a reset, a rebirth, salvation. Cue Carole King, stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time. There is something wrong here. There can be no denying one of us is changing, or maybe we just stopped trying. And it's too late, baby. Now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it, something inside has died, and I can't hide it. I just can't fake it.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's drive. This is a Wendy's drive-through.
Mic drop. Yeah. Boom.
I wonder how long it took her to make that.
I hope that, you know, her loved ones are seeing this stuff and like trying to get her professional help.
I could give her some
This actually
advice.
just seems like the ramblings of a schizophrenic person on the street.
I could give her some fantastic advice right now. I took an entire week off X last week, guys, and the world didn't end. Everything was fine. I came back. I was even able to focus on my daily tasks better than I normally could. And I was more attentive to the things going on in my life because I was just away from the internet for a bit. And maybe that would do her some good to get off the internets for a while.
We do have a 20 from Manic Mustache. Late as usual, but apropos to global overpopulation, sitting with the missus in the delivery room waiting for our mustachioed bouncing baby to come into the world. Hopefully he'll be here by IRL. Be fruitful, crisis actors. Congrats.
Congratulations.
That's exciting.
That's a very big deal.
That's another great way to go offline, you know? Spend time with family.
I loved the pictures of all of the protesters at the event. And I just pictured Bezos and her just being like, oh, Jeff, look at all of the cute little people with their signs.
I bet they spent such a long time making those. Yeah. Do you have the protest pics?
I wonder. I don't think we have the. I have
the expectation versus reality for Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Is that the first
Showed
video?
a bunch of the protesters in that one.
Well, let's watch the first video that you sent me here. Here we go. Put it back. screen here. All right. Muting that.
The Bo Burnham, Jeffrey Bezos song. But yeah, you see smoke signals of paper mache Jeff Bezos in the gondola. There's another one that's put out to sea, scrapping for money.
I wonder how much of the supplies used for this were bought on Amazon.
Oh, that would be supremely ironic. Yeah.
You got more here.
Yeah, and then I also saw a ton of rage bait about just how expensive it all was. That was to be expected, but this woman is a self-proclaimed finance expert, and she talked about how much this cost in normal people dollars if you did the math.
See? Right there in the chat. BC says the big news was that Sydney Sweeney was dancing with Tom Brady. Yes! Yes, she was. And everybody was saying that she was the most sought-after person at this event. Everybody wanted to be talking to Sydney Sweeney, apparently. All right, let's see how expensive this was.
Yep.
Florence Sanchez dropped an estimated $670,000 on her bachelorette trip to Paris. Yep, she whisked her celeb besties like Kim Kardashian and Eva Longoria to Paris on private jets to stay at the most expensive hotel in the city, go on boat trips, do private shopping events at Hermes, and more. Lauren is marrying Jeff Bezos. So like, how much does spending $670,000 on a bachelorette even mean to them? Well, luckily I am Mrs. Dow Jones as a millennial finance expert, and I did run the numbers, and they're going to shock you. Okay, so Jeff's net worth and Lauren's shares in that is around $220 billion, which means if they retired today and never made another dollar, which I know is unrealistic because she definitely has more children's books than her, and use the safe withdrawal rate of 4%, they would have an annual income of $8.8 billion. Meanwhile, the average income in America is $59,228 per year, which means $1 to the average American is the same as $0.000006 to Lauren and Jeff, which means, relatively speaking, Lauren spent $4.50 on that bachelorette party, which is honestly super cheap. Like, the average batch party is usually $1,300 in America. The future Mrs. Bezos couldn't have at least sprung for some bride tribe merch or something. Come on, Lauren, getting married is a big deal. Did you know Lauren?
So yeah, I guess the bachelorette party would be the equivalent of $4.50. And the wedding is reported to be about $50 million total cost.
You will never be cool trying to shame other people into spending their money a specific way.
Well,
you'll always be lame.
They were also criticizing Lauren Sanchez's taste in fashion and her wedding gown, which was designed by Dolce & Gabbana. In this next video, they're dunking on her for looking trashy.
By taste, I just need you to look at this wedding again. Because quite genuinely, what were you thinking? The only look I can semi-get behind is this one. And I don't even know what stylist put it through because I feel like she was going to beg for a push-up bra, so her baboombas were going out. You know what? Tasteful. Her hair was down. It was well moisturized. Then you had this look, which really is what in the Hunger Games are we doing here? Money will never ever buy taste. I've said this before, but this was obscene. And it's almost as if they asked their guests to dress just as tacky as them. Because what are both of these outfits? And I feel like Kim is about to pop out here. I think the thing that gets me the most is the rings, because they did not need to be this gaudy. Look, I get it. You're marrying money. He has money. You have money. A nice little $10 million wedding could have been nice. Imagine donating that $25 million.
They always want you to donate it. They always want you to donate it to some charity where all the money will be spent on administrative costs. That or the government.
They always have an idea.
Yeah.
As a PR stunt to the people of Venice. Then
they did that. It's called spending money on the local economy.
Maybe we all wouldn't hate you as much.
No, normal people don't hate them. Normal people who are concerned with their own lives and are not envious of the success of others do not hate them. In fact, I'm guessing that all of the shop owners in Venice love them. As they all spent money there in the local economy because they don't want their money donated to them because they're not layabouts who want to get everything for free.
Yeah, when I watched that video, I was like, who's we? Because I'm not like a fan of Jeff Bezos or Lauren Sanchez. I really don't care. But like, there's nothing in me that just gets me like this fired up with anger over a billionaire spending money on extravagant stuff like this about designer clothes and diamonds. Like, there's just nothing in me that is even slightly irritated. I agree that some of it is lowbrow and tacky looking, and especially the way that the wedding guests showed up. They looked tacky, but that's the extent of it. I just have critiques of the way they dressed. I don't think it's unethical to spend your money in the way that they did. And
Like,
then
imagine being the shop
these videos
owners.
just come off as catty and jealous.
Imagine being the shop owners in Venice while all of these kids are out there protesting. And the joke I was making earlier was like, imagine it's like 24 hours before you have to go out and stick it to the man, and you don't have a big enough Sharpie to write on your protest sign. So you have to get overnight delivery from Amazon so that you can protest Jeff Bezos.
We also have an angry rant from someone who was pissed about Lauren Sanchez getting the digital Vogue cover for her wedding photos.
Here we go. Hold on.
Hitting me right now. Nope, I'm not letting this one slide. How much did Bezos pay for this one? Anna. And don't even tell me Anna stepped down because this cover was coming out. I bet you she was behind it all. She still has a major say in everything that goes on. And in her statement, she goes, how thrilling will it be to work alongside? Alongside? Why? So you can put out shit like this and have someone else's name under it so you don't get the heat? This just shows it's not about fashion at American Vogue. This is about fashion. This is about fashion. This is a literal fucking joke. Like, I don't care, it's a digital cover. It's still the June cover. They unpinned Hailey's summer issue and put her right there. That the wedding gift, Jeff? How much was it? Anna, I hope it was worth it. I hope that check is worth the embarrassment. And Dolce & Gabbana designing the wedding dress is another joke. They give the same dress to everyone. Lace up to the neck. This isn't her at all. Didn't she wear this like this week? A follower of mine sent me this dress. I could fully see her in something like this. But anyway, aside from the dress, I can't even say that I'm surprised, honestly. I knew it was always a money grab with Anna, considering it's just a different celebrity in a blank background every single fucking month. But this is a new low. You know what I will say though? At least it's not in a fucking studio. At least it was a decent photo shoot this month, compared to the rest of the mess that you give us every month. Oh.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of inside baseball that I'm guessing I just don't understand.
She was pissed because Anna Wintour permitted Lauren Sanchez to take over the cover of the magazine
She
that month.
retired, right, Anna Wintour?
Well, this was prior to her stepping down, but she's still making decisions. And yeah, I think she's actually mad for reasons she didn't mention in the video. She's mad about Jeff Bezos being a billionaire. And there was also a theory that basically Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding ushered in a new era of loud luxury as opposed to quiet luxury. Like, it's no longer what is it? Like, it's now money talks. Like, that's the new norm.
It's
that
kind of like old money versus new
they've
money.
established
like
it.
loud is new money. And,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Bezos'
They
wedding
reversed
is
it.
Okay.
that it has single-handedly ended this tiresome, quiet luxury trend. Everything about this union and the wedding that it has spawned is tacky and ghetto, and thank goodness for that. It started out ghetto from the beginning. Cheating on your second baby daddy with his much richer friend, ghetto. Then your brother selling the text evidence to the National Enquirer for just $200,000, ghetto. Wearing
Yeah, he got undersold there.
abroad to the inauguration of the president of the free world, ghetto. Postponing the wedding last minute because the money was funny, ghetto. This wedding invitation, ghetto. Khloe Kardashian attending your wedding event in a leopard print catsuit, ghetto. Kim Kardashian attending your wedding event in a polyester crop top and a polyester skirt with a visible label on it, ghetto. Having Dolce & Gabbana as your wedding dress designer, ghetto. Tom Brady literally hiding his face is just so funny. Even Oprah looks like, oh, maybe this wasn't the best PR move. Her bestie Gayle King, however, she's literally rent-a-friend for billionaire. If a billionaire threw a birthday party for her cat, bet your bottom dollar that Gayle would be in attendance. But guys, where is my homeboy Derek Blasberg? Hopefully no unfortunate accidents this time around. But in all seriousness, Lauren did her big one with this one because there's literally no reason for Jeff to get married. They have no kids together. He's been married before and had to pay out billions of dollars in the divorce. So the fact that he's running into this again is a testament to Lauren's charisma. A quiet luxury girl could never have pulled this off, never in a million years. To pull this off, ghetto fabulousness is necessary, and you can't tell me otherwise. This is a developing story, and I cannot wait to see this wedding dress. The one good...
That is one thing people were pointing out. Like, it seems like Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos have no real friends. Because they just, like, what do you mean you invited Sydney Sweeney to your wedding? Like, you don't know these people.
Yeah.
And there were only, what, 200 people in attendance? And most of them were just random celebrities that were picked
they
by a
likely,
publicist.
I mean, the thing is, they probably did a private event that has nothing to do with any of this with the people that they actually know and like.
Not that we know of.
Yeah.
Not that we know. They never said that.
That video is my favorite out of all of them.
I mean, it is incredibly ghetto.
That lady's on brand.
Yeah.
I like that.
Everything about it was ghetto. So I guess that they're making quiet luxury no longer cool.
Well, all right then.
It has to just be all in your face now, like being as loud as possible about how rich you are and as shameless as possible. And I have to say, people protesting your wedding is a flex, no matter how you put it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
Protest is a form of flattery.
Like I said, if I was them, I would have walked up to some of the protesters and she'd been like, "Look at you guys with your cute little signs."
They should have had the catering come out and hand
feed
out
them.
some sandwiches to the protesters. I'm sure they're very hungry and thirsty out there. It takes a lot of work to, picket outside of their venue all day in the sun. It's hard work being an activist.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
High Voltage 75 said XP test.
Thank you.
Are you trying to get your XP up for a crown? Weary Traveler said all the people saying no or nope under my high school mommy comment are coping. Just own up to it. This is a no shame zone. I mean, okay, I never experienced that in high school. That's way later than I ever heard kids doing that, but I believe you.
We got a 20 on Rumble from Elijah Flash 232 says, "All I'm seeing in the clips is a bunch of jealous little bitches not willing to do what it takes to get to marry a billionaire."
They're not willing to be ghetto fabulous.
You're gonna have to pull a Lauren
have to go all the
Sanchez.
way.
Cookie Don says, "Off topic, but I started Warrior on HBO Max, formerly HBO Max. The show was okay, but I got turned off by episode 4, but my friend said to give it another shot, and episode 5 was great." Yeah, I remember watching that, and the first thing, it's pretty pulp. I made it through, I probably got to about 5 episodes, and I remember there were is that the one, they were at the scene in the brothel, and I'm like, did fishnet stockings exist back then? I don't think they did, and I think I was right.
What year?
I don't even remember. But the point was that you don't watch that show for that. You watch it for the action. But yeah, I believe Warrior is on Netflix now, which I recently reacquired and got rid of something else to have it for a month so that I could watch some. I wanted to rewatch Arrow. So
you're always switching them around.
Yes, never. Well, you can't have all of them at one time. It's fiscally irresponsible to have them all at one time.
Well, yeah, but the idea of switching them just seems like such a hassle.
You can so I can do it on my phone. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I can do it from my Google Play.
I see.
I can just cancel and restart another one. Otherwise, yeah, you have to go to their app and go to and actually do it on a website, and it's really annoying.
T-Dog said, "Apologies for my last DM. Hope you guys forgive me."
He said that last week.
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
We still have no idea what DM you're talking about, and we probably never will. Sorry.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's move on. Let's talk about everything that went on at Glastonbury.
Yes. So at Coachella this year, the political messaging was quite palpable in the air. They gave Bernie Sanders a little moment on stage to give a speech to the audience. And there were several musical acts that took the opportunity to wave Palestinian flags and Ukrainian flags and make statements about supporting Palestine and anti-Israel messaging. Also, a lot of anti-Trump messaging. For instance, Green Day doing the little lyric change about the MAGA agenda. All of that is unsurprising, but I think that Glastonbury has taken that to a whole new level. And it's actually kind of worrying because there was an art piece dedicated to billionaires, and it essentially was calling for their deaths in a veiled way, starring J.K. Rowling and others. Mm-hmm. They say if you take a trip to Glastonbury's Block 9 this year, you'll be met with a mural that depicts J.K. Rowling and an array of notable figures boarding a spaceship to Mars. The mural is part of a collaboration between Block 9 and Led by Donkeys, a British political campaign group. The installation depicts Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and of course J.K. Rowling sporting orange spacesuits boarding a spaceship to Mars. Accompanying the mural is a sign that reads, Block 9 and Led by Donkeys have constructed a massive space rocket to carry Musk, Zuckerberg, and Bezos to the Red Planet, and it's launching from Glastonbury. The tech bros want to go to Mars, so we're sending them there. There's room on the rocket for a few morsels, so they're going to be joined by Trump, Netanyahu, Vance, Farage, and Rowling, just some of the people who in recent years who have made life on Earth more difficult for the rest of us. And then this came to J.K. Rowling's attention on X. They posted her and said, I mean, J.K. Rowling has been a lesbian icon, but this takes it up a notch or two. And J.K. Rowling responded saying, I'm really confused. Am I supposed to feel insulted? This is the coolest I've ever looked in my life. Like, she is just nonplussed at all times. Yeah. She's impossible to bully into submission. She just finds it all funny. Yeah. I'm sure the rest of them would too.
In the chat, Andy says, no Mark Cuban. Well, no. I mean, they should have, because Mark Cuban turned down the chance to run for vice president last election cycle.
As well as the mural, there is a Tesla alongside it that has been crushed, and a massive shipping container has been placed on top of it. The car was crushed by a World War II veteran, Ken Turner, who decimated the car in an army tank. In a video showing the crushing taking place, he said, I'm old enough to have seen fascism the first time around. Now it's coming back. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is using his immense power to support the far right in Europe, and his money comes from Tesla cars. Well, I've got this message for Mr. Musk. We've crushed fascism before, and we'll crush it again. This man is 98 years old. I hope that he's not being, used in a sinister way for these stunts. But obviously, J.K. Rowling just was laughing at all of it. They can never.
And I'm sure J.K. Rowling has very little that she agrees with or even would want to interact with Elon Musk about.
But as you can see, it's obviously done in a tongue-in-cheek way, but it's riding the line of basically calling for the deaths of said billionaires who were depicted in the art piece. So,
which became more prevalent with the Bob Villain posts.
Right.
Or, quotes.
So this musical act, Bob Villain, showed up in front of Glastonbury and led this chant.
I don't know if we can. Can we show it? I should have asked beforehand whether we can show it or not. I honestly don't know.
I don't believe there would be a problem with just showing what happened.
All right, let's look at the clip here. Here we go.
Free, free. All right, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF. Death, death to the IDF. Death, death to the IDF. Death, death to the IDF.
Yeah. So they just kept going with that. This Bob Villain act, they also did similar statements at Coachella as well. One of the comments that was mentioned, they were performing with Kneecap as well, making pro-Palestine statements. They did say F Israel, free Palestine during that weekend. And now, as a result, Bob Villain is under police investigation in the UK. Yep. They have been dropped by their talent agency. And also, they are fully banned from entering the United States. They have had their work visas revoked.
Yep.
As a result
State
of
Department to revoke work visas of British rock duo. And then there was a statement from the Deputy Secretary of State says the State Department has revoked the U.S. visas for the members of the Bob Villain Band in light of their hateful tirade at Glastonbury, including leading the crowd to death chants. Foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome visitors in our country.
What do you say about this? How do you feel?
The generic use of hateful tirade makes me, because I saw like the British framing of this was hate speech.
Right.
And hate speech is a vague,
they don't have
nonsensical
free speech there.
term. Whereas here in America, there are very specific restrictions around speech. But this is America that's saying this generic term of hateful tirade.
Right.
I don't believe,
like it could be construed easily as an incitement to violence, which is not allowed, but they didn't say that in the statement from the State Department.
That was my issue with it, yeah.
And then the BBC addressed this because they were live streaming the entire event, and they said that they had regrets and they should have cut the stream when this began, but didn't. And that's why now they're under investigation in the UK, because they don't have free speech there, and they could easily at least face, fines for this, possibly jail time. It depends. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't like the norm that is established now, where you're just going to get either deported or banned entirely from the United States for saying something that's bigoted. Like,
it's going to come back around like a boomerang.
Not a good precedent to set. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I also understand where people are coming from. Like, it does seem like at least a veiled call to violence. But it's also...
But the IDF isn't American.
Right. It's not about... Yeah, it's not about the U.S. military, and it's also not about any particular person or particular group of people. It's about a military in another country.
In the chat, Machinist says, foreigners don't get free speech in a country that isn't theirs. It wasn't even said in America. It was said in the UK.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you punish someone off platform. Like, remember when you'd get banned on Kickstarter for saying something on YouTube back in the day?
Right, yeah.
No, it sets a dangerous precedent.
I've also, I've been noticing that Spotify artists are oftentimes completely banned off of the platform if they're convicted of certain crimes in real life, like nothing to do with their music, but they get deplatformed anyway.
Now, if I was to take the other perspective, I'd say that these bands have done this before and gotten in trouble, specifically Kneecap, and that every time this happens, they're then shocked that this stuff happens, and they're like, oh, darn, it's the consequences of my own actions. So do I cry for them? No, but I don't necessarily agree, especially with the U.S.-based policy that they're taking into effect here.
Yeah, just gives me an uneasy feeling.
Like, this will eventually come back around.
They're obviously idiots. Of course, I'm not like defending anything that they've said or done. And I think that it's actually just embarrassing for them that they couldn't just simply perform their music and keep it pushing. Like, it doesn't need to be this stupid grandstanding. I swear, like, artists are just doing this to fill the airtime. Like, they know that they're not interesting enough to garner attention with their music. So they have to do controversial stuff like this to get a soundbite, to get a moment. Yeah. And they know that they can rely on people celebrating for them for this.
The criminal investigation in the UK makes perfect sense to me because they don't have free speech over there. And I imagine...
But I don't think that's right either. Like, I'm against hate speech laws.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
And they
it's
were
just
dropped
the way
by
is.
they were dropped by their talent agency. So everything went wrong for them all at one time.
Right.
Yeah. And the UK stuff makes perfect sense. The American stuff, like, they weren't even here when they said it.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I don't support.
It's just not a good precedent to set, as I said. But
again, I understand, and you're right. You don't have to let anyone into the country who speaks out against your country, I suppose. In this case, he's speaking out against the IDF, so it actually just puts more of a spotlight on America's relationship with Israel when suddenly you're banning people because they dislike a country that isn't you.
All that does fuel to the fire.
Like, what's the statement? You're not beating those allegations when you do that.
Correct.
And what do you want me to do with it? It's like the band is stupid because they don't know how to get attention for anything else, and America is setting a precedent that will absolutely be used against them when the administration changes, and then they're gonna cry when it's done against them.
Oh my gosh! So someone I know went to see kind of a small band doing it. They were playing a show at a small venue, but packed full of people. And the frontman of this band, literally between every song, went on a tirade about Palestine. Every single song, he was just going on and on. It almost seemed like he was reading from a script on the stage or something, or like reading something off of the palm of his hand. And the kid was just screaming.
Like the Haley, what was the one, the girl from Paramore, when she's reading the form.
Exactly. Like, it was obligatory. And then at the end of the show, This kid tells everyone, don't buy our merch. Use that money to donate to Palestine and to these organizations or whatever that we support. Okay, if you really meant that, your merch wouldn't be there up for sale, would it? Or you would commit to the audience in front of you that you're donating all of the proceeds, 100% from your merch, to those Palestinian organizations, if you really had the principles you claim to have. But obviously it's an attention grab, it's a virtue signal, and in some of these cases they're probably making these statements to get girls. I wasn't going to say the word I was about to say. I think that they're probably using it for female attention in a lot of cases. Another highlight, though, from Glastonbury, on a lighter note, Charli XCX was one of the headliners at Glastonbury and made quite the embarrassing show of herself. I just cannot believe that she's dragged the BRAT summer era this long. Like, it's been a year, girl. And guess what? Kamala lost. It's over. Like, maybe if Kamala won the election, I could give you a pass for dragging this out a little longer. But it's so over. It's so dead and gone. And I suppose this performance that Charli XCX gave was, in a way, a farewell to the BRAT summer era, because she was, you know, posing in front of the album cover on fire with the pyrotechnics and everything. It's crossed out on stage. The Guardian said that Charli's performance was a thrilling, hostile takeover by a pop star at the peak of her power. A bawdy and uncompromising icon playing alone with no frills. So take a look at this video, actually narrated by the BBC, and tell me what you think you're looking at right now.
Now she's licking the floor. And the stage is plunged into darkness again.
They're narrating it like it's an animal documentary, like a Nat Geo documentary. This is a Charli XCX in her natural habitat, licking the floor, writhing around in a bunch of what I believe is fake rain. And then in this second video, you can see her dancing in front of the album cover that is burning up behind her. So I suppose that's meant to communicate this is the end of BRAT. At long last, it's over. It's just cheesy, you know?
Yeah, it's BRAT summer now. Sorry, guys.
It's been BRAT summer. Actually, it was all of 9 months ago that we made a video titled BRAT has gone too far. BRAT summer has gone too far. It was already over almost a year ago, and she's still like, get over it. Move on. Move on. The rest of us have moved on. It's time for you to move on, Charli. And now this performance is getting roasted quite a lot, and people are criticizing her for auto-tuning her vocals and all of the stunts that are meant to distract you. She responded to the critics saying the idea that singing with deliberate auto-tune makes you a fraud, or that not having a traditional band suddenly means you must not be a real artist, is like the most boring take ever. Yawn, sorry, just fell asleep. And someone responded saying everybody wants artists to be explorative with their music and sound and can't even handle Charli XCX using autotune. Let's talk about this being rooted in misogyny, because T-Pain built a career on using autotune and nobody said a damn thing.
But T-Pain can actually sing.
He is a good singer.
That's like, it actually became a thing later where he built a whole second half of his career off the reveal that he didn't need the auto-tune. Also, he made legit hits.
Right.
Like, didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think that Charli XCX is a good singer underneath the auto-tune, but I imagine people wouldn't know it because they don't hear it. And then she went on with this crash out saying, to be honest, I enjoy the discourse. The best art is divisive and confrontational, and often evolves into truly interesting culture, rather than being like kind of okay, easily understood, and sort of forgettable. And then she said, really enjoying, this was literally all in the span of like 20 minutes, really enjoying these boomer vibe comments on my Glastonbury performance. It's super fascinating to me. You just don't get it. You're just not media literate enough to understand my art. Like, I'm so deep. You just wouldn't understand.
I feel like if you're a pop star, you should stay away from intellectualizing your art.
Or any artist, really, any type of artist. Don't do that.
It has like its place for a specific type of artist, but for pop stars, it comes off as self-indulgent. Like nobody, like outside of Stan Twitter, people don't engage with pop music to get deep.
Right. Well, I think it kind of doesn't matter, regardless of the art form, the music genre, whatever it may be. Explaining yourself is the opposite of the point of making art. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't the point that what you did, what you presented to the world, should speak for itself?
Yeah, who was I just like looking at something of recently? They were talking about it's not really my job to like look at my art that way. It's other people's job. It's my job to make it, and it's other people's job to interpret it however they want.
It's the most annoying thing in the world when someone puts out an album or a movie or a TV show and they want to dictate to you what you're supposed to interpret it to mean. You can tell everyone what you thought it meant. That's fine. That's your perspective. But like, you know, The Boys, like they were telling everyone who liked The Boys that they weren't allowed to like it if they're right wing because it's actually a really deep commentary on Trump.
And it will never
fascism.
actually matter because you can't ever guarantee that whoever listens to your music is going to also listen to your interviews. So at a certain point, to a certain extent, you're going to have to be okay with it being misinterpreted if you do in fact have like a specific idea of how it's supposed to be taken.
Right. And it's not a package deal. Like most people maybe will care enough to listen to your song a few times on Spotify. They don't care what you have to say about it in like a 2-hour-long interview.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a specific type of artist that might work. Pop music, definitely not.
Never. And it always just comes off as self-important, self-aggrandizing, faux deep bullshit. And I have to admit, I was fully here for the original BRAT summer. I was playing that album all the time last summer. And I loved that music. But she ruined it for me. It's played out. It's dead. It's done. Dead in the water. It's been over for almost a year now, and I cannot believe she's still dragging it out. It's quite embarrassing, actually.
It'll continue to get dragged out.
Like, I thought the whole point was, like, having an era, right?
I mean, I thought for her it was just about, like, she expected Kamala to win, so now she has to carry it out to its natural conclusion, and she's just not willing to let it go.
Yeah, like... people said Charlie XCX like didn't choose to be associated with Kamala, but like she actually did tweet out infamously, "Kamala is brat," and it stuck. So that was her fault.
Thank you.
Not a good career move. Thank you. Thank you for the crisis party.
Thank you, guys. All right. Okay.
Let's finish up these super chats, though.
Let's do it.
Surinko Productions said, "Whoa, serious F1 the movie bet from Brett. LOL, can't wait till Brett watches the Apple TV backlog and finally rags on Severance." He thinks you're going to lose the bet.
Think it's going to make $700 million? Maybe it will.
If you lose the bet, are you going to watch Severance?
No.
Never?
I'll watch some of the movies. That's what I'll do. Less time invested. The thing is, though, is like, you know what I think would have made a crap ton of money is a movie about soccer. Because the world loves soccer. Yeah. America doesn't care about soccer.
Where are those?
But a movie about soccer would an Apple TV movie about soccer would be significant enough globalized slop that the globalists would love it.
What was that one? Bend It Like Beckham?
I'm thinking more of The Big Green, which was a movie from my childhood.
Whoa, Keira Knightley was in this? That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, soccer movies are big bucks. Shane H. Wilder said, "Don't cry, Mary. It'll be okay. Everything's fine." I'm trying not to cry. Kenneth Hart said, "I'm good with Zendaya for a Bond girl. She does it for me. But Pedro Pascal as Bond, but remixed as a buddy cop movie like Lethal Weapon. Easy, fun, and cheap." What do you think of that idea?
No.
You know what? What the hell? Sure.
If you're gonna
Do
if you're gonna do a buddy cop, look, they're already making a new Lethal Weapon movie. We're good.
I'm surprised to hear that Zendaya does it for somebody though.
Zendaya is still a better choice than Florence Pugh.
I stand by that. I think Zendaya is attractive. I do think she's objectively attractive.
Maybe in the movie they can make a point where they're like, look, you can't look vaguely disapproving the whole time.
They don't do her any favors. Yeah. You know, I mean, obviously in Dune, they make her look frumpy on purpose.
I think
in Euphoria, she's playing a drug addict, so she looks frumpy all the time in that show.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking.
But she is. I think she's attractive. You look at her on red carpets; she looks great.
I'm thinking of like old. In fact, you know what? This is actually the perfect. This could have been Zendaya, if we were. Hold on. She could have been disapproving-looking Olga Kurylenko from Quantum of Solace.
Can you zoom in on that?
Let me see if I can get a better picture of it.
I can't see.
Hold on. Let me see. In Quantum of Solace, she looks vaguely disapproving like the whole time.
Oh yeah, I see it.
That's like you could do a Zendaya version of this.
Sure.
Granted, this isn't the greatest example of a Bond girl because, like, I think this is one of the first. I remember watching this movie and they don't even like her and James Bond don't even get together. So you know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe Bond's like
they had not found their stride.
Maybe Bond's like she's just too annoying. She's too disapproving and rude.
I don't know if it's like scolding teacher vibes
for her. No.
It's more like just kind of disgust on her. She has a constant look of disgust.
It's when I
turning
think of
her
Zendaya,
lip up.
It's petulant immaturity.
Yeah. Not a fan of her expressions. Ryan Bledsoe said F1 in 40X was great. Second best 40X experience to Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, considering they were made by the same director and writer.
Is 40X just when they shake the seat? That's it.
I mean, if there ever was a movie you should see in 40X, it's probably Maverick and F1.
I'm never going to see a movie in 40X. I'm trying to peacefully eat my snacks.
I'm just sitting here with my drunken fries trying not to spill on myself.
No, thank you.
And then, okay, I have a great story about the drunken fries from F1. Olivia didn't want any, so I just got some for myself.
Wow.
And they like overfilled it. It was like the person was like doing us a solid.
Because they knew about the nacho cheese mess up
from the
last
time
time.
before.
They had to make up for it.
It was like two individuals worth of fries in one box. It was amazing.
Well, why did they do that?
I don't know, but if I could have tipped that person, I would have.
Dang.
But I don't technically know who filled the box. But I'd have tipped him extra.
Just some high schooler was feeling generous.
Like I don't care.
Day.
Like it's the end of the night. He's like, oh, this is like the last batch. I got to just dump them all in there.
I was at the Starbucks drive-thru earlier this morning, and I got my drink, and then the chick goes, "Do you want a sample of our new matcha drink that we're working on over here?" And I'm like, what are you even doing back there? Like, you're just making new drinks for fun? Okay, like, fine, give it to me. I love it. And then she hands it to me in this, like, it's in a Dixie cup with no lid, and it's filled to the brim, and I'm supposed to drive away with this in my hand. Yeah. Like, then I ended up spilling it on my seat.
Of course.
I was just pissed. But it was good. From the amount that I did get to try. Shane H. Wilder said, someone said Lana Del Rey for Bond Girl. Nah, have her do a Bond theme. She has the voice to make a sultry classic Bond theme.
She could do a theme.
Totally agree.
She could do a theme.
She would have been great as a Bond girl in, her prime, like around 2012.
I do like the next one for who suggested. Oh, no, it's two down there. Brian Bledsoe says Madeline Klein would be a good Bond girl. She's in that range, right?
She's
age-wise?
way too Instagram face, like way too social media girl.
They'll have
She looks like an Instagram model. It doesn't look like a real person.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's because she's gotten work done or what, but she doesn't really have like a face for cinema.
Thief King of Legends says Rachel has a boyfriend on her IG, talking about the segment we did earlier.
She's faking it for the cameras. I wonder how her boyfriend feels about her going on a dating show, though.
If she's paying the bills, I guess he doesn't have a choice.
Right? I guess not. That's kind of weird, though. Did you read that one from
Hiroshima Taro?
Thief? Or
yes.
No, it was from Brian Bledsoe.
Yep, I read that one.
Hiroshima Otaru said, women with baby voice is often a sign of abuse.
That came when I was talking about the movie A Walk to Remember. It was not meant that way in that movie. It was clearly just supposed to differentiate her from the sarcastic tone of the female characters in that movie who were all dicks.
But that is true, though. Like,
Yes.
it kind of, you're, like, frozen in your childhood, so you have, like, that fake... It's really obnoxious. Like, some people unconsciously do it. She seems like she knows what she's doing. Shane H. Wilder said, it's an act. That's not a silly side. That's a red flag.
Yep.
I agree. Red Snow said, only gold. My platinum Labubu scoffs at you and it. Don't tell her that.
Are there platinum Labubus?
She also has a sapphire. She has a 40-carat sapphire Labubu. I like the way that she says Labubu as well. Like, she always takes a long pause before saying it, and then she says it in that British accent, like, Labubu. Labubu. I hope she finds her gold Labubu, though.
Maybe she
like,
dropped it somewhere. Like, that'd be the worst. Like, when you start, like,
Sad.
Scorched Earth campaign, but really you just left it on a park bench.
Damn.
Like, everybody has that friend who, like, starts going off because they think somebody stole something of theirs and they just left it somewhere.
Yeah, where's my phone?
Yeah.
No, I know you have it.
Like, bro, it's in a couch cushion. Go find it.
Weary Traveler said, I could hate read Rosie's Substack all day. I just learned today that she had a Substack. I had no idea. I thought that she was going to be frolicking carefree in the Irish countryside, living her best life. But no, she's still constantly reading the news cycle and has no peace in her heart. She said that she moved to her ancestral homeland because of Trump, but then moves there and pays just as much attention to American politics as she did when she lived here.
I bet you for somebody who can't separate it, like, that's got to be some type of special hell where it's like, I can't get away from this because I can't stop myself from looking. Like I said, I got off X for a week. I went back today. I made one post. By the way, I didn't re-download it to my phone, but I did post, and I just said, you know, the world didn't end, you know, some like world-ending event didn't happen that I needed to be informed about, and I paid closer attention to the people around me and to even things that I was watching on TV. And then I said you should go see F1. Someone's like, racing movie, yawn. I'm like, this is why I'm not on this platform.
Someone always comes in with the snark.
Because somebody's got to be snarky.
Every time.
Yeah.
Alice said, please, America, take Rosie back. We have enough crazy leftists here in Ireland. No, I'm thinking we're good. We'll pass on Rosie.
You can keep her.
You can keep her, yeah. I mean, her grandparents are Irish. That's why she got citizenship, I believe.
Yeah. Hiroshima Utaru, did you read this one? Bezos hiring a ton of businesses is a bad thing? He's asking that question. That was my first thought. It's like none of these people who are protesting care about the local businesses.
But they're saying even the people who own those businesses are evil rich people.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I'd like to think that even those people aren't stupid enough to not be able to tell the difference between the millionaires and the billionaires, which they claim to see as different.
Mm-hmm.
As so says Bernie Sanders once he became a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Shane H. Wilder said, Rosie's free verse poetry sounds like it should be read at a coffee shop around some smelly beatniks with a bongo introduction.
And you got to wear those glasses she has.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And she also like wears a little scarf while she reads it.
I wonder if she goes undercover and does slam poetry.
I bet she does.
I think she does. She looks slam poetry-esque.
But what would Rosie O'Donnell look like in a disguise? She would just look like Rosie O'Donnell in Groucho glasses.
Yeah.
She can't hide the Rosie O'Donnell of it all. It's not something that you can hide. Pat the Plumber said Bezos should deliver Rosie a nice fat pig on a spit in an Amazon box, of course.
Yeah, somebody thought I meant like, what if Bezos ordered stuff for the wedding on Amazon? No, I was saying, what if the protesters were like, crap, I need a pen.
They need
for
their
this.
arts and crafts supplies.
Yeah, and they're like, how am I supposed to get it this quickly? All the local stores are closed for the night.
Right.
Overnight shipping.
Easy. No Control said, how could you have a wedding while there is a femigenocide in the Congo?
It's a very good question. I don't know how you could do that.
How does he live with himself?
But if you
how
do
can
want
he
to
rest at night.
But you could go to our Teespring store and support the ending of the femigenocide in the Congo by buying a Save the Congo shirt or mug, or even just a PCC hoodie or T-shirt.
All of the proceeds go to the Gongo. We promise.
We promise.
That is on our word. Shane Perkins said, just testing this out. Mary looks nice. Thank you. Looks like your super chat went through. Omega Red Fan said Christian Bale was arrested for, quote, verbal assault, yelling at his wife at the Dark Knight premiere in the UK. Seriously? That's crazy.
Doesn't shock me at all.
When did that happen? I never heard about
Dark
that.
Knight have been 2008.
Interesting. Are they still married?
I have no idea. Like I just tend to assume most marriages end, but
Well, in Hollywood, for sure.
for the big name actors.
Shane H. Wilder said Bob Villain should have performed with Funny Bone instead of Kneecap. Hate speech laws are tarded and will always come back to bite those that created them.
Yep.
Yeah. Weary Traveler said if
People in the chat were like thinking that we were like what side of the aisle you fell on that argument. I think that it was stupid for the U.S. government to get involved in that whole thing. Like, considering it wasn't said on U.S. soil and it was not even said about U.S. citizens. Like, I can't.
Yeah, I think that is stupid and performative as well. I agree. Yeah. Weary Traveler said if we have Brett Summer, what does Mary get?
Somebody in the chat earlier said Halloween. You get Halloween season. Spooky season.
I'm never going to beat the Tim Burton allegations. So over for me. I'm so cooked.
Like, one day you're just going to have to be like, you know what? Bright colors every day for a year.
I just have to be a walking, talking sunflower. Shane H. Wilder said David Attenborough should have narrated Charlie XCX. That would have been
I would have liked
amazing.
Stephen Fry to do it.
Yeah.
He did all the Harry Potter books for the British side.
Or this is a new side hustle for Elliot Page. Could have been Elliot Page. Because she narrated the documentary about transgender wildlife.
She did.
So that would have worked. Red Snow said the next Crisis song should have guitar sweeps.
It's going to be a while before a new Crisis song.
Yeah, we have to let this one play out. It's, that's our new era.
Mm-hmm.
How we separate seasons. Clay Grayless said, Brett, they purposely costumed a toy in anachronistic clothing on Warrior.
I'll have to go back and rewatch it. Yeah, that's true, to not give it a time period. But that's always one of those things that's weird to me, because I get hung up on weird details that have nothing to do with the plot, and then it ends up like ruining it for me in a way that it shouldn't.
Robert said, I would cast Alexandria Shipp for a Bond girl.
I hadn't even...
I've never heard of her, but I just looked her up, and looks like someone who fits the bill.
Yep.
I haven't seen her in anything, though.
The name rang a bell, but I don't know where from.
I mean, I don't know. She's a little bit like Girl Next Door-ish. Now that I'm looking at pictures of her that are more recent. But
I don't know what I've seen her in, but the name rang a bell.
You know what? It should be Bonnie Blue.
A British icon.
Yes, she's a British sex icon. Obviously. You know what? Actually, Bonnie
Lily
Blue.
Phillips.
No, the fembots in the Austin Powers reboot are gonna be Sabrina Carpenter, Sydney Sweeney, and Bonnie Blue, and maybe Lily Phillips will get in there.
She'll get like a.
She'll get a minor role.
Like a sympathy cameo.
Right. Perfect. Or Sydney Sweeney would be like Austin Powers' sidekick for the movie, the whole movie. So she's not just getting a cameo. That would be amazing. I mean, everyone does say that Sabrina Carpenter has fembot vibes. No Control said, after the years of conservative cancel culture, you can cry me a river to the sea.
Yeah, and that's most people's opinion, and I'm actually okay with that, because I do think that the right has this tendency to be like, we're more ethical, we're more honorable, and then they lose because the other side does not play fair and is not ethical, is not honorable, will lie, cheat, and steal. There's no end in sight. The only thing that matters is the revolution, and the right will be the ones that are like up against the wall, and they're like, well, at least I got here honorably. And, so again, my heart doesn't break for any of these people, but I just didn't think it was the right call.
What is conservative cancel culture?
Like all of the years of conservatives being...
Oh, the conservatives being canceled?
Yes.
Because I thought that meant conservatives were canceling...
No, he's talking about all the years in which it happened to them.
Okay. Well, look, I mean, the guy wasn't on U.S. soil. He wasn't saying anything about Americans or the American military. What does this have to do with us? That's my question.
Well, the argument that's being made is that a lot of our tax money goes to Israel. Therefore, it is basically us. So,
well, okay, there you have the answer.
I paid a lot of money for the IDF, so therefore,
there you have the answer, though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it's about at the end of the day, and that's not something that most Americans support. Actually, like I don't think that we want to pay our taxes into billions for other countries.
Nope.
I'm not going to read that username. We need someone to study TDS. It's a real problem now. I mean, do you think that it's getting worse, or do you think that it's kind of fading away?
Feels like it's just the same. It feels like it's. It might be one of those things where if I wasn't paying close attention to the news, I might think it's fading a little bit. But since you pay close attention to the news, you kind of have this acute understanding of just how much is said on a daily basis about politicians. So maybe to somebody who's not paying close attention, it might seem like it's less so.
I honestly think that TDS peaked years ago, and it has been on the decline, at least since maybe it peaked at like January 6th.
I would say that perhaps the idea is that TDS has not gotten worse, but it has gotten more acceptable to not hate him.
True. But would you say it peaked in 2016 or
2020.
in 2021?
2020.
Like January 6th, around that
Yeah.
era. But it's definitely, I feel the TDS has decreased as fanfare around Trump has also decreased. Like his supporters aren't as excited about him as they used to be,
because
and his haters aren't as excited.
There's not really much to be excited about.
Right. Like that's, I think they go hand in hand.
It just kind of is what it is. Another omnibus bill.
She was like connecting in the poem, like something about the bill and then something about like pride marches.
It's like,
and
I
then
don't know what those have to do with
Palestine
each other.
and also Bezos' wedding. Like I was like, what is the connection that you're seeing between all of this?
That is somebody who's hyper polarized and has a lot of hate and tries to connect it all together. And you know what I bet you her answer would be, but she can't say it because of who she is? Capitalism.
Well, yeah.
They probably blame capitalism. Boring.
That is true, but I think most of it's just the fact that she's clinically insane.
Alexandra Shipp was Storm in X-Men Dark Phoenix. That's why I don't remember. I don't think I ever finished Dark Phoenix.
I've never heard of her before. Shane H. Wilder said, sorry for being so snarky on X, Brett. In my defense, I'm snarky everywhere. Was that from Shane?
No, it wasn't from Shane.
About racing movies?
I don't remember who it was, but it wasn't from Shane.
Okay. Red Snow said, didn't we win the Gongo, or was that the fake Congo?
That was the fake. Well, I think Alexandra Shipp was in Barbie. She played one of the Barbies. I think they got, what did they call it? Elon Musk brought, what's it called, to the Congo.
Who?
He brought satellite to the Congo. Elon Musk.
Starlink.
Yeah,
Starlink, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything that Alexandra Shipp has been in.
Smashing Random Keys said, wait, what?
Okay. Wait, she played Aaliyah? There was like a photo where I'm like, she
played Aaliyah? There's a movie about her?
When I saw the first picture that I saw of her, I was like, she looks like a mix between Aaliyah and Amala Ekpanobi.
Oh.
And she played Aaliyah in, which is like a Canadian.
Wait, is there like a biopic about Aaliyah?
Yeah, this was a Lifetime movie. Aaliyah, the Princess of R&B. Clay Bennett played R. Kelly. There is no likeness there whatsoever. Holy crap. But the point being, Elise Neal played Gladys Knight. Elise Neal was in Scream too. Point being that I saw her and like, she kind of looks like Amala, and
I see it.
And and Aaliyah.
In her smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm good.
Smashing Random Keys says, is the Switch 2 overrated? Are you getting one? Are you planning any big purchases in the next 6 months?
I'm getting married, so I'm not planning any big purchases except for we're planning to go on like a quiet, like a smaller honeymoon right after. But other than that,
Would you call it a quiet vacation?
yes, I would. I would call it a quiet vacation, which we're excited about. Otherwise,
Where are you going? Unless you don't
we're
want
gonna
to
keep that for now. I don't know if she wants that out there,
Okay.
but we're excited to get married.
And I'm not a gamer, so I wasn't planning on getting a Switch of any kind. And for me, I don't think I'm planning any big purchases.
I did like what qualifies as a big purchase.
Yeah,
So a
what's
friend
big?
of mine, I bought a legit full-size N64 emulator with like every game. But then like I realized that frame rate and everything, I'd rather just play an actual N64. So I keep almost like there's a really good vintage gaming store out here, and I keep almost buying a new N64, but it's like just a little bit more than I want to spend, and I don't want to play it on a full-size
You
TV.
can negotiate.
Yeah, well, I don't think this place will let you.
No.
It's not. It's for resale. They're not going to let you bargain, or haggle. But yeah.
Weary Traveler said, have y'all heard of the movie Weapons coming out in August, and will you be planning to see it if so?
I don't know if there's any. I'm probably going to review Superman when it comes out. I'm probably not going to review Fantastic Four, if I'm being honest. I don't really care, but I probably
Shouldn't
will.
we? I feel like we used to watch all of the new Marvel movies and review all of them.
It's different now that just because of where we are, it's harder to get to the theaters during the week and stuff like that.
That's
It's
true.
I guess we could, like, if we were smart, we would have reviewed Ironheart. Everybody was getting crazy views making fun of how bad Ironheart is.
Do you guys want us to review Fantastic Four? Like, I don't know.
Oh, somebody in the chat said GoldenEye was goated. I just watched an 1.5-hour documentary about the making of GoldenEye N64. It was incredible. Like all of these legit interviews with like the creative team from Rare back in 1995. And it's amazing. Like when you see like how little oversight there was when they're basically like, here's the license, go make a game. And they had like free reign to do pretty much everything they wanted. It was amazing.
The question was, did you hear of the movie Weapons, though?
I have not.
I haven't either. So
I think I saw a cover for it.
I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, BRAT OG TMNT back in theaters August 17th and 20th.
That might be worth going to see at a, like, it must be like a Fathom event. Maybe I'll go see that. I do love the original TMNT.
Red Snow said, I see Aaliyah shirts all the time now because of y'all. Aaliyah shirts?
Good. Aaliyah was a very, very talented person. Go watch Romeo Must Die. She could act too. She could legitimately act. She was not playing Aaliyah.
I haven't seen Romeo Must Die, but I did see her in the interview with the vampire sequel, and it was
Queen
terrible.
of the Damned.
I don't remember the subtitle, but it was awful.
It
was like the worst.
Yeah,
maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
My favorite line in Romeo Must Die is Anthony Anderson is in that movie, suitably playing comic relief, and he says to Trish, get over here with your Aaliyah looking ass. They legitimately like call her Aaliyah in the movie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think we're all caught up on the super chats. Are we good on Rumble?
Let me double check and we'll make sure.
We keep missing the 20s that go to Rumble.
We are all caught up on Rumble as well.
All right.
Tomorrow we got another 10 there from Gordon Shumway.
Gordon Shumway said, quiet vacation. Brett, is that a vacation where you don't post a bunch of pictures online drawing attention to yourself? Or as we used to call it back in their day, a vacation?
Yeah. In general, I don't vacation enough to be one of those people that only posts the highlight reel. I have to post my whole boring life if I want to post on social media. But like, if you went to my Instagram, you wouldn't see any of that because it's just skating on my Instagram.
I was saying quiet vacationing because that was one of the crazy Gen Z workplace terms that we talked about a while back, where you are remote working, but you don't tell your boss that you're on a trip in another city.
Yeah.
You just like do work at the beach or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You just like act like you're at home. I guess it doesn't matter as long as you actually get the work done.
BC in chat says, Olivia says no odd job for multiplayer. It actually would be a really funny comedy skit to get Olivia to play GoldenEye and say that I have to be Odd Job and she has to play as another character because Odd Job's impossible to shoot because he's so small. So that's why you play as Odd Job. That'd be a really funny bit, but she'd probably catch on to it now. All right.
We have another from Weary Traveler. As Kloonberg in the chat said, Weapons is by the same guy who did Barbarian and was in The Whitest Kids You Know. If either of you are
familiar, I'm guessing means familiar with those two.
Those two.
I do know Whitest Kids You Know. You can't do that now.
Can't do
that type of humor anymore.
Oh, isn't that like the Canadian?
Lots of like political
show?
humor in that.
They were Canadian, right?
I think so.
I think I remember that.
Lots of 9/11 humor.
Oh, they must not have been Canadian.
Shane H. Wilder.
If y'all review FF, it will give me an excuse to use. Oh, Fantastic Four. It will give me an excuse to use the Merry Movie Reviews template. I haven't used it since Joker Folie à Deux back in October 2024.
When did the kid from when did the one dude from Whitest Kids You Know die? That was like several years ago.
I don't know. Do you guys want us to review Fantastic Four though? Like I can't tell who cares anymore.
Yeah, Trevor Moore. Hold on. Should I put a poll up? We got some time. They got 10 minutes to vote.
Now, you have 10 minutes to decide if you want us to review this movie.
Yep.
Or, I guess, would it be either Superman or Fantastic Four? Would it be
I mean,
either
Fantastic Four, Superman's going to get reviewed either way because I'm going to go see it. So,
Okay.
let's ask about
Let's
Fantastic
see.
Four.
Because I just don't know who cares about Marvel enough to even, like...
I think it's probably more about Pedro Pascal than Marvel. Nobody cares about Marvel anymore.
Yeah.
All right,
Let
poll
us
is up.
know. I'm voting... I don't know. I'm not even going to vote. I'm going to leave it to you guys. Red Snow said, my uncle made a PowerPoint of his vacay to Italy. A PowerPoint?
That's so boomer coded. I love it.
I have like...
He couldn't make a carousel on Instagram, so he made a PowerPoint presentation.
I have a traumatic memory of like family members showing us like a whole slideshow of hundreds of pictures of their vacation to Hawaii. Hundreds. It was like an hour and a half.
Do you take pictures when you travel?
I don't even, like, if I'm in front of like the Eiffel Tower, I'm not gonna just take a picture of the Eiffel Tower. Like, there are photos of that. I'll take a picture of me in a place that's like, I went here, whatever, like pictures of me with the group of people that I'm with.
Yeah.
That matters to me more than like taking a picture of something that's already on Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like you have to see this one from the helicopter ride and this one from the snorkeling and the volcano and the whatever. Like, I don't care. It was just like painful to have to see that. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares to see where you went. Nobody cares to see the minutes-long videos that you took at a concert either.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, why would you
It's a power move to not record at a concert.
Yeah. It's more of a power move if the band or the artist enforces that you're not allowed to be sticking your phone in the air the entire time, which ruins the experience for everyone.
67% are saying yes to Fantastic Four so far.
Well, I guess they want the review.
Yeah.
I guess we should do it then, right?
We can do it. Like, we could do Superman 2 if you want to go see that. I mean, I'd say I have more hope for Superman than I do for Fantastic Four. But that's just me. That's the other great thing. So, like, not the greatest thing about not being on X was, like, I would have to check it here when I was at work, and everybody just be fighting about stuff with, like, Superman. I'm like, oh, God, I'm so glad I just...
What is there to fight about?
The trailer where he, like, starts beating up Lex Luthor because he took his dog.
Why is that controversial?
Because they're like, he's losing his cool. It's not Superman.
Wait, so he's not supposed to like have emotions?
I don't know. I don't care. That's why I didn't get involved in the discussion. But it was a trailer spot they did before the release of the movie.
Is Superman supposed to be autistic?
No, I don't think he's autistic.
Like, why is he not supposed to feel things?
Well, I guess Superman would be in his later years would be more calm and cool. Like one of the critiques of the first real trailer, not the teaser, was like he lost his cool in the interview with Lois, and the argument was like, look, Superman in like year 3 of being Superman might not be so down to earth, or might not be so calm, cool, and collected that he wouldn't let her doing her job and talking about how some people perceive him. He wouldn't let it get to him, but he did.
Okay.
I thought it was probably a mistake to include that in the trailer, that part of it, because they have great chemistry, and your first introduction to them together is them being combative. But they have great chemistry together, so why would you? First impressions matter. They really do.
She seems like such a stupid thing to argue with people about, especially online. Like, if you're arguing about it with your friends, that's different. But if you're going back and forth about it in a comment section...
I mean, that's kind of the heart of a lot of geek culture, was arguing about characters and stuff at the comic shop. So I get it, but I don't have it in me.
I suppose.
Like, literally, I just don't have it in me. I'm not smart enough to articulate a reason. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't care. Like...
People are also arguing about stuff in the Fantastic Four trailer as well.
There's another one there from Gordon Shumway.
I have PTSD from PowerPoint from my army days. Imagine working on a brief presentation all night, then have some colonel say, I don't like that shade of red, or I don't like the size of that font.
Oh, what a dick. Why does he gotta be like that?
It's been a while since I've even touched PowerPoint slides. Yep. I think maybe since high school.
Yeah, if somebody asked me to do that now, I'd be like,
I wouldn't know the first thing of what to do.
Yep.
We have no corporate America skills, clearly.
It would be very just. In the chat on Rumble, it says she was disrespecting him. You talking about the part where they're where they're fighting during the interview? No, she was doing her due diligence as a reporter. And she's acting as Lois and him as Superman, not him as Clark. So I think there's an argument to be made that, he shouldn't have lost his cool in that. Like, the worst thing you can do when a reporter starts giving you the questions, just like when you're on the stand on trial, right? The last thing you want to do is lose your cool, no matter what they say or how they frame it, because it allows you to be painted a specific way that you can avoid if you keep yourself calm, cool, and collected.
She was disrespecting him.
So, part 2, Superman joins the manosphere.
It is not that deep.
In part 2, he's like, that's why what was the thing from the other day? It's like, that's why a Lamborghini has 2 seats and a bus has. When you start getting serious about your goals, you start losing a lot of friends. That's why a Lamborghini has 2 seats and a bus has 50, which neither matters because Superman can fly, so he doesn't need to use either.
Urashima Otaru said Superman is supposed to have control over his emotions.
Yes, again, but the argument was like, then 3 years into being Superman, that doesn't necessarily need to hold true. Early days.
Okay. Project Eva said, wife is small, brown, and angry. Course I ship Zendaya.
Yeah, but like in the movie, she doesn't look angry. She just looks annoyed in every movie she's in. She just doesn't emote very much. Like, her as MJ is just...
Zendaya is also a giraffe. She's...
shaped like a giraffe?
Well, no, she's like super tall. Yeah. She's like 6 feet tall. Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, people filming concerts with their phone sucks. They did it at a Alice Cooper concert. I'm like, I don't want to see Alice get beheaded via your iPhone. Yeah, and it's like, no one's watching the videos that you post from the concert. No one. Like, maybe if you took a picture with Alice Cooper.
I do have a particular...
that would be cool.
What is it? There is a version of Arsonist Lullaby that is better in like a very specific YouTube version that I have that I really, really like.
So that one
example, that one guy
recorded the only useful concert video ever
in history.
I mean, the rest of them, you're recording on an iPhone. It doesn't have the capability to replay the audio as you heard it in real life. It's just going to sound like a bunch of blaring noise. So yeah, mostly useless. Robert James Films said, Brett, she was in the last Shaft movie. It was good.
How long ago is that? It's got to be a while ago now. 2019 or before.
I think we're all caught up on the Super Chats.
All right. Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. We got one more Super Chat there, and I will end the poll because we did make it all the way.
All right. Red Snow said, Brett, I know not and care not. Me, I know not and care far too much all of a sudden. I just like arguing with people for some reason.
That's just never... Hold on. Okay, so I've ended the poll. 175 votes in like 10 minutes. Looks like we are going to go see Fantastic Four. 69% say yes.
We'll honor your request.
Yeah, like it's like when you see people argue in the comments section of like an Instagram post and it goes like this long.
Yeah.
And you just know that person's going to forget about it in like a day.
I bet there are Instagram comment section arguments that go on for like months.
Yeah, I just...
Years.
I can't bring myself to do it. All right, there's one more there.
Gordon Shumway? Okay, hear me out. What if Superman was effing with Lois Lane because he's a reporter and knows Lois Lane pet peeves?
I mean, if that's true, then he failed because she was the one who came off looking like she was getting the better of him in that clip, but that could come out differently in the movie, to be fair, but I don't know. All right, Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And you can help me become TikTok famous. That one is also Mary Archived.
All right. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That always helps out the channel a ton, so thank you for that. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at PopCultureCrisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.